Well, one thing I want to talk about is actually discipline, which is a very important aspect, I think. It can be either exercising in a certain way, exercising the mind in a certain way, practicing some kind of energy system as we do here in the Nei Qi Gong system. But it's vital, I think, because it really lands the quality of our life. Without discipline, even great artists, great thinkers, great innovators, there is no excellence. Because one day we feel in a certain way, next day we feel another way, and in the morning we feel in a certain way, in the afternoon in another way. So we're kind of like the sea, we're kind of boat in the middle of a sea that is changing. Because, you know, thoughts come, emotions comes, life circumstances happen, so it's quite difficult actually to be consistent and to achieve certain goals and certain possibilities that we have according to our potential, to our talents, passion, whatever it is. Of course, I think there is an healthy way of approaching any goal that we might have in life. I think that understanding our talents and passions in a very simple way, you know, maybe things that we loved when we were quite young, or things that have been there throughout all our life, even in the difficult moments. I think that's a key way, an important way to discover those abilities and those talents and actually to cultivate them. But to cultivate them and to do anything we want to do, we need work, which translated could be energy, you know. Without energy, work cannot be done. I think Einstein was saying the same thing in his magic formula. Fixing some kind of commitment every day, that at the beginning might sound like a torture. You know, you take 30 minutes, 1 hour per day to do something, and maybe this thing is also a meditation thing, which at the beginning, you know, you sit and you see all your confusion rather than feeling blissful, which happens majority of times. But you know, the more you do it, actually, the better you feel. It might sound like a very weird thing to do, like shutting off the world and forgetting who you are, what you do, and just do some kind of work. Can be meditation, as I said, can be exercises, can be Nei Qi Gong, can be training in some kind of skill. But that thing actually builds up some strength, that it's actually the possibility of directing our mind in the way we want, rather than in the way life sometimes take it. Or some people blame other people, they say other people actually they make us angry or make us happy. Well, that's another thing, but no one can do that if you actually have some distance and control over your emotions and thinking. But of course it requires some distance from life as well, so that you kind of disengage with it in one sense, even though you're fully involved with it. And to do that, you need to schedule some times. You know, if you want to grow a business, you have to work on it. If you want to make a piece of music, as I do, you have to work on it. Even when sometimes you don't feel too much doing it, well, sometimes you want to rest, it's normal. But sometimes you don't feel much doing, you sit, you force yourself a little bit, and then you feel great, you actually do something amazing. So the power of discipline, I think, brings excellence, brings control over our chaotic existence, because it's quite chaotic for the way that, you know, things happen. They are pretty much out of control unless we kind of establish one line, but then the universe can arrange them or disarrange them. It's not really 100% on our control, this thing. But one thing we can do for sure, it's building some kind of practice. In my case, it's Nei Qi Gong. As you know, I teach it online. To have that inner strength that allows to face life in a better way, in a more solid way, being flexible as well, because both things are needed. We need to be flexible, adjust ourselves, and at the same time move forward, at the same time just pause, because it's time for resting and understanding. And all, I think, begins from listening to yourself purely, without transaction with the mind, without double thinking, without thinking this is better, this is worse. We have to do that kind of thing sometimes, but at least if we will understand what our intuition, our inner voice, whatever you want to call it, you basically, or me, whatever, want to do, I think that could be an amazing possibility of being more connected. And then whatever life throws at you, you try to make sense out of it. At the end of the day, we have no control on this thing. We can try to have control on ourselves, but to do that, we need some discipline. We need to train. As I said, it might sound like a painful thing. Some people start the path and then they realize maybe, oh, it's not for me actually to do this physical thing, because actually the first practice is quite physical. So maybe they don't feel like, oh, I wanted to have the superpower right on, and they leave. But I can see the people who actually continue to work on this thing even after a few days. They do it. They feel amazing. I'm glad when I get emails from people saying my life is being transformed on various aspects, not just on the physical, energetic level, but life itself, the way I interact with it, which I think it's the best thing. It's the real thing. It's the real thing. And I encourage a certain kind of objective and relaxed approach. Just do it and see what happens. And when I get that kind of feedback, and I must say many people report this thing, many who continue, a few they quit. It's normal, it's kind of a filter, natural filter. It's amazing to hear that, because you realize you're giving some tool to people, and people are understanding the benefit, and they're having the benefits. That's it, as simple as that. But for sure they put the trust and the constancy. They built some kind of routine, let's say, that works. And I'm a very, let's say, I'm a guy who loves freedom very much. Freedom has always been my compass. The choices that I made never were driven by money or by freedom was the main thing. The way that I was feeling more free, more in line with myself, I was going that way. No talking about that, no compromises. It might sound like a weird thing, but you say you're talking about routine, being strict, or having discipline. I do my practice every day because I know what it does. I know it adjusts certain things. I know it creates the right space, the right strength, the right mind, the right health in the well-being in the body. And I do it whenever I want. And sometimes for a period I do it in the morning when I wake up, first thing, sometimes in the night. It changes. It changes according to the schedules, according to the way I feel. It doesn't have to feel like a burden. I think once you realize that something is good for you, at some point during your day you want to include it. As simple as that. I don't like structures, I don't like belief systems and gurus, all these sort of things, religious aspects. But it's a reasonable thing. You understand something works, you do it. And of course you have to try it first, even for a few days. And I must say that even after a few days you can understand that. Even with the first level, with the first practice, Nei Qi Gong, you can feel the vitality in your body, you can feel a sense of openness, many things. And many things happen to different people because everybody is different. So I encourage you to give it a try if you want. There is the website there, you can have a look in there. But to wrap up, I just want to say one thing. The power of discipline in anything that we do. We are so much oriented towards the goal that sometimes we feel discouraged during the process. But if we will learn to enjoy the process and to just be with it as it is, suddenly the fruits, they will come. Without expecting them, they will be there. And that will be fine for you because, you know, you kind of adopted that kind of attitude of waiting, of not being thrown through ups and downs. And that's, I think, an amazing thing to do.